Lenny, Mendonca, I'm your MC for the event and one of your co-hosts. I'm delighted that you're all here. We'll have a chance during the next day and a half to really dig into trying to address some of the most important challenges facing our state and our country. And we could not do it without the scale and quality of the people that are in the room. I'm going to do just a very brief introduction about what we're going to try and do over the next while here, and then I'm going to ask you all to once again talk to each other after I describe a little bit about what the agenda is. As you can see by the title of this event, it's called Growing the Impact Economy, Leveraging For-Benefit Enterprise and Cross-Sector Leadership to Tackle Complex Challenges. It's a mouthful, and it's a mouthful for important reasons because they all mean something specific about what we're trying to do over the course of the next day and a half. First of all, we're about trying to tackle complex challenges, I mentioned. We're not here to wrestle with the easy things that have already been solved or are on their way to being solved. We're about doing them cross-sectorally, taking issues and working across sectors to get problems to be solved. We're often going to be doing those, leveraging new organizational forms for benefit enterprises, which we'll talk about during the course of the time. But perhaps most importantly, we're here to have impact. This isn't going to be one of those events where there's a bunch of people sitting up here lecturing at you, although there'll be a little bit of that today just so you get warmed up. But the whole point is to spend a full day tomorrow with people working together to solve some of these difficult issues. So I look forward to joining you for all of that. We will say a couple times during the course of the time here that make sure that you get to meet people you don't normally meet or haven't met. There's a lot of time at your tables, at lunch, dinner, breakfast, during the course of the events to get time to meet people, so please do that. That's a big, important part of the conversation. An important part of this as well is to get people from different sectors together in the same room. So let me start with just asking all of you that are from the business sector, primarily. I know many of you are from cross sectors. How many of you are from the business sector? Raise your hand. Okay, it's like about 25%. How many of you are from the public sector, government? Okay, how many of you are from philanthropy? How many of you are from the social sector, including entities that may be not-for-profit entities that are big businesses too? Fantastic. Okay, and how many of you are professional athletes? Just the Giants had the day off, you never knew who might show up. But so as you can tell by the hands raised in the room, there's a real diversity of folks here, and I want to make that more live by giving you 3 minutes at your table to say hi to the other people at your table, say who you are, where you're from, and what are you trying to get out of this session. So 3 minutes, introduce yourselves to the people at your table, and then I'll start. I'm going to orient you to the program, but before I do that, also, if you didn't pick them up on the way in, make sure you get some reading material. There's a description of the Presidio Institute, which David Smith will talk about in a moment. And then we had a fantastic coordination that was completely coincidental, that 2 of our partner organizations published their special issue on the topic that we're talking about today. So if you haven't, make sure on your way out at the table you pick up these 2 fantastic journals that are doing a great job at describing the change that's going on in our sectors today. Stanford Social Innovation Review has a topic that covers time for the plural sector. And the California Management Review from PAS has the entire session based on hybrid organizations. So if you want more reading, those are 2 great places to go. And if you're not already on their list, please make sure you pick up those journals on an ongoing basis. So what are we going to do during the course of time? After a few more welcome remarks from some of our co-hosts, we're going to introduce what is going to be the bulk of the time, which is the Action Labs. And we'll start with a little bit of an introduction about what they are. If you haven't figured it out already, your lanyard is color-coded to the Action Lab that we hope you signed up for. They're on the second page of the agenda that describes what those are, and that's when we'll spend the time tomorrow at the Presidio Institute, and we'll describe the logistics of that in a moment. We're going to have in a panel after the introductions, a lightning round introduction to each of those panels, so you get a sense of what's going on in each of those Action Labs. And if for some reason you're signed up for something that you didn't think you were signed up for, or someone was so compelling in their introductory remark that you want to change, let our organizers know and we'll flip you around to a different one. So the final thing I'd like to say is thank our sponsors for the event. These things have been an enormous effort, as you can imagine, to pull together. There are a number of host organizations that helped pull this together, and David will be describing them in a moment, but some of our financial sponsors were Accenture, McGuire Woods, and the Happening Bay Brewing Company. So thank you to our sponsors. And with that, I'd like to get us kicked off and introduce our first co-host, the Managing Director of the Presidio Institute, David Smith.